Hi, this is the predictions for the July 2025 California bar exam. So always professional responsibility, number one prediction, right? For the second one, I have the retake here as well as the initial testing essays. So I would say next, see if you go back here, they have community property twice or 4 times in a row back in 722 going back. So it is possible they'll do it again. So let's put that kind of medium-ish number 3, let's say, just because it's so commonly tested. Number 2, we have this blank area right here, contracts and tort, but tort was last tested July 23. So let's put that here, right? I would say contract remedies here. And then for your fifth subject, since real property was tested in the first one, I'd say Civ Pro. And to make it harder, I would say California Civ Pro. Crim Pro would be a wild card. I'd say Crim Law first and Crim Pro. Trust over will. And then we have business associations. So if we go back, the model answers or the selected answers aren't out for February 2025, but they did release the question. So let's take a look. And the first thing you want to categorize is whether it's like a criminal setting, a civil setting, or perhaps a corporate setting. It could be some other settings. So it looks like corporate setting. Emory's general counsel. So whenever you have a corporate setting, you want to former relationships. Let's see. Okay, so this is a commingling of money too and client instructions because Anne refused to do. So this is a corporate setting and commingling. Let's see what they tested in the first exam. Okay, divorce. So that's civil or family law. So you have, when you think divorce, it's automatically talk about that you can't do contingency agreements, right? Because you have to settle. It discourages settling cases if you do contingency because then it's based on a certain outcome. But there is an exception in California that you should look into. It's if you can make a showing to the court that the marriage is for sure there's no way back. It's for sure. So they call it moribund, I think. Contingency. Okay, look into that. So now we can go to the app, which has outlines. So 724. So 724 Q2, professional responsibility. So this is splitting fees. So what setting is this? It's civil. Civil conflicts of interest, right? There's a bunch of money things going back and forth. So it's civil. And there's a duty to communicate settlement on conflict of interest in terms of with the case. See, splitting fees with lawyers. Okay, good. Civil or criminal defense attorney, criminal case. And there's like gifts or like exchange with the season tickets. A gift, actually. So here we go. Contingency fees, which you shouldn't do for a criminal case, right? Because that's like guaranteeing an outcome. So you're discouraging settlements, plea bargains. Okay, perjury. Okay, criminal, client perjury, gifts, and another thing. Contingency fees for criminal cases. Okay, so far we have corporate, so I do expect a crim this time. But let's see what 723 was. Okay, good, corporate. So reporting, withdrawal, and acting in the best interest of the patient. Confidentiality, duty of loyalty, which is the best interest of the corporation. Reporting and withdrawal. 223. Maybe it's corporate. Yes, corporate. Corporate client. It says right there in the outline right here. Corporate, duty of loyalty, former clients. Corporate, duty of loyalty to the corporation, former clients. They wrote lying to client. Let's see. Okay. So definitely crim this time. It's got to be crim, right? And yeah, take a look at the crim. There's 2 topics that are very important, which is, let's say that your client gives you a gun or evidence of the crime, a bloody knife, a gun. What do you do in that situation? Okay. And then the second thing, have dual representation of the clients, like 2 co-defendants. So look into that as well. Leave a comment if you want to ask about something more specific. Hi, this is the more specific torts analysis for the California bar, July 2025. See, so let's go to see what they tested in July 20. So it was like a product liability. Okay, see, February 2022. It's a nuisance. Is that right? February 2022. Okay, it's about some horrific noise with a rock negligence. Well, it's about the hospital meals. So there was some independent contractor stuff here. Negligence, states, meals, and respondeat superior. Right, let's check out 220. Defamation. Defamation of actor. Let's look at 219. Oh, here, puppy bite. I actually know this one very well. Shout out to my friend Brandon. puppy bite. Wild animals, puppy bite. I'm not gonna say wild animal. Okay, so to me, I would look for this animal thing again, or I would definitely do a couple practice essays on animals. Maybe defamation too, okay? Hi, okay, let's get into some community property. So here they tested on the take, see what it was. Question 2, premarital agreement, stocks and dividends, and this expensive watch. As gift, premarital agreement, and stocks. So I should have just said substantial gift, but that's all right. So let's go to the app for 224. 224 Q1 right here, community property. So you have the duration of the economic community, transmutation, and a separation, and loans. So loans, economic. So there has to, when they do economic duration, it has to do with there was a split somehow before the divorce. Before the divorce decree. Economic duration, transmutation. See at the bottom here how it says permanent separation? So that has to do with that ties back to the duration of the marital economic community. So debts. Okay, 722 crossed over with bills. Okay, gifts and pretermitted children. That's actually not a community property concept. So gifts and perhaps the death. So I'm just going to focus here where it says California community property and go downwards. So where they were living and the purchase of California land. Since it was a crossover, it's like there's less community property topics than a normal full-blown essay, right? 222, okay, we have tracing, disability, and I see loan here, entitling. Okay, 721. Say crossover again here. So quasi-community property. I'm just focusing at the end here where it says California community property laws. And it's talking about quasi-community property. So there's a crossover as well. So I would expect a crossover again, this to be crossed over with something else. And so take a look at this disability and titling of property and quasi-community property, those kinds of topics. Let me see if I'll do this search feature in the app. So take a look at all the community essays. Same with these 3, take a look at these as well. Look in the app, and if you don't have the app, Google it. You should be able to find a PDF on these. Hi, let's talk about remedies. So the thing is, unless it says specifically in the call of the questions that it's what remedies, it's hard to really say if it's a very specific to remedies or very specific to contracts as a whole, right? So let's just see what happened. Also, I don't have it divided, which I do in the app, but I don't have it divided in the, let's see what I have in the app. Oh no, I don't have the model, the outlines. The selected answers aren't released yet. So let's see what they did in February 2025 for both the retake and the main February bar exam. Let's see if they gave any contracts in those remedies questions, okay? It's question 5. So preliminary injunction. So it's a property. So let me notate that. Let's look at 225.4. Good. This is a contract. Employment. Okay. Employment contract. Okay. So now we can go to the app. So 720 is question 5. So I have it as a free sample drill here. You could take a look. So it's tort remedies with the fraud. I think something with the baseballs. So that doesn't apply. So 723. Okay, good. Contract remedies right here. So rescission, reformation, TR, and then the constructive trust. Rescission, reformation, TR, constructive trust. Okay, 222, business association remedy, so doesn't apply. 221, contract remedies, great. 221 Q2 right there, contract remedies. Perfect tender rule, it's not really. So you have your basic damages, looks like lawnmower contract. So you have your warranties and what they do with that, and it's UCC, right? Okay, so let's look, this was a pandemic exam, 1025. So we have TRO, restitution, consequential, TRO, restitution, consequential, and I saw something at the end there, latches. That's a defense, right? So before that, 717, oh, specific performance, great. Yeah, I think you should really watch out for this. Specific performance. Definitely take a look at this essay, all right? Okay, last subject, civil procedure. And I'm just adding the twist that it's going to be California civil procedure just to make it a little harder, because it's better for you if you anticipate something harder and it's easier like federal, right? So let's go to 724, California selection, directed verdicts, and motion for new trial. California, your whole biased because he was a former engineer at this place, which is one of the parties at Motor. Directed verdict and motion for new trial. And even though this said California, I noticed that one of the selected answers didn't even talk about anything California specific, and it was still a selected answer. So just think about that. They did such a good job on the federal version of the rule that they didn't get in any specifics about California, and we're still selected. Selected answer. Okay, 223. Civpro looks like federal, or else I would have wrote. Okay, motion to dismiss. Joinder. So this is federal. Motion to disjoinder. Physical examinations. Okay, 721. California. Preclusion, discovery, and diversity jurisdiction. Preclusion, discovery, and diversity jurisdiction. 17. Civpro. So if we go by this alternating federal California thing, it should be federal next, right? Okay, anyways. Expect the unexpected. So here we go. Discovery, interrogatories, and privilege. 17. California. Joinder. Plead. If you look at this pattern, it's really compelling that it's going to be federal next time. But expect California because nothing. So if it is federal, I'll say I told you. And if it's California, I'll say you can never predict the bar exam fully. Pleadings, SMJ, Erie. Take a look at the federal exam in particular. Take a look at the interrogatories, discovery, privilege. So we have wildcards next. And this has been a lot of work for me to look up all this stuff from the past exams. So I will do the wildcards like a special part 2 episode, but I would need to be very compelled in the comments and likes to actually do so. Let me know. Thank you.